Don't own the rights to this music, y'all. Just letting it be known. Give me a sec, y'all. Bear with me. I'm getting the shoulder ready, getting warmed up real quick. What's good with it, y'all? What's good with it, y'all? I was gonna turn the light on. Good with a pure black. Good with a Mr. Metro, Mongo Slade, Astro 87 in the building. What's up with it, y'all? I don't want to rock with me tonight, man. Gonna get it in, though. Send out my links, man. Hit the like button. Please subscribe. Rocking with the Al Jaheed's podcast tonight with your boy Gullah Jabiri in the building. Jabiri is Mende for Redskin. It's good with a bro. Then we're gonna be getting it in on breaking down Nubia history. I'm gonna do this show I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna this particular show, this particular topic is so you know, it's so lengthy and so, you know what I'm saying, detailed. Uh I'm gonna have to do it probably in increments, you know what I'm saying? So this is the first show of this, you know, of understanding Nubia and the Sudan. And you know, understanding that you know, Nubia is not a monolith. It's different, you got different cultures and tribes, you know, all throughout Nubia. You know, we're gonna break all that down. Get my sources all together real quick, y'all. Just bear with me. Send out links too, like I my build on that. Let me get my link. Let me get my links now. Don't want to rush this. I gotta do this. This is my shit, y'all, right here. Y'all already know what this is. You know what type of scholarship this is over here. Still the intellectual gang banging over here. We're gonna get it in. And killing the night. You smoking on pseudo, you hear me? What's good with it, y'all? What's up with it? What's up with it? Peace, bro. Peace, Raymond. What's up with it? When to get it started, we're gonna talk about Nubia. We're gonna really break it down tonight. Uh, I told you I'm gonna do this in increments. You know, I ain't gonna be able to get all of it in tonight, but you know, we're gonna just do, you know, go do a good, you know, good overview on it. I'm gonna show you some of the materials I got too. We you know, we're gonna start with the wiki, you know what I'm saying? But I got, you know, I got hella sources. That's why I said it's gonna take more than just one show. I might do this over the next couple of weeks, you know, through the holidays. But I do want to get, you know, I'm really, man, I'm really tired of Egypt for real. I'm tired of talking about Egypt. I want to talk about West Africa. After that, you know, after that, I'm gonna get into some West African culture after that, like the origins of Niger Congo speakers. We're gonna get into all of that. Get to Nilos areas, we get all of that too. We gonna get it. We always gonna get, you know, say go in, you know, say talk about you know, Afro-Asiatic populations. We even gonna talk about Twa. We're gonna even on this show. We're gonna talk about even stuff outside of Africa. We're gonna talk about stuff in Eurasia. We're gonna talk about stuff in Europe, migration through Europe. We're gonna talk about you know, East Asian populations, Australia. We're gonna get into everything. We're gonna do a global. This ain't no Afrocentric channel at all. Like I told people, I'm not part of no conscious community. I'm just a well-read brother, you know what I'm saying, like to study. Like when I be on these shows, some of the shows, I'm really like, you know, look from the outside looking in. Even like you know, when it was Team Osiris, you know, Osiris, you know, that wasn't even, you know, calling us as Egyptian. That was just more so of acronym. You know, but now I don't even want to be, you know, I'm Odu, you know, this Odu, you know, Odu squad over here. I'm not even finna you know, try to entertain being Egyptian or anything. I'm telling like it is, I'm gonna represent West Africa. But I still respect other cultures at the same time, you know, studying other cultures, you know, from a, you know what I'm saying, from my viewpoint. You know, represent being an African American, or what I call a West Sudanic, a West Sudanic Creole of the US, you know what I'm saying? He said Phoenicians, I'm Lebanese. Are you from Lebanon, Astro? That's what's I just seen a movie. I just seen a movie last night. Had a Lebanese dude in it. It's called Emily the Criminal. He was the dude in the movie. He was the dude that taught her how to scam and stuff, make credit cards and shit. Shit was good ass movie. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all some. I'm gonna show y'all something I got real quick before I even show the wiki. We're gonna start off with the wiki, but I'm just show y'all the material that I do have. Let y'all know what y'all can store to. Like a lot of people don't even bring these type of guns out. I got the new shit. You know what I'm saying? Even that book Unc got, that Nubian book Unc got, that book cool. That's a good book. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. That's a good $72 book. But that book came out in 2012. So it ain't, it's some other workout. I got the updated shit. I got the 2020 shit. Let me show y'all this. I got the 2020 shit. Even that article that Maria Gatto wrote that Jonathan got, he's misreading that article. He's misreading that article. I read the whole thing. I got and that article right there, that's not the 2020 article. That article was written 2006. It was on point though, you know what I'm saying? Well, what it's actually about. But the article was not saying that I'm not saying Egyptians and the A groups are the same people. They say they related, they're not the same. They're not the same people. The A group, Nakata, and the Nakata and the A group are two different distinct people. They just say related people, but they're two different people. They both are Afro-Asiatic speaking people, but they come from different populations from different branches. The A groups are more Cushitic branches of Afro-Asiatic populations. And the Kata populations are what they call northern Uritic branches, who already migrated up into North Africa 15,000 years ago, in a mix with Iberian Marusian populations and Basal Eurasian, Maghreb populations. Even them, before they even migrated up there, they had what's called the Ethio-Somali component, which is like a sister sibling to the Maghreb component anyway, split off in Arabia. I talked about that in my last show. Split up in Arabia and branched off into Africa, North Africa, the Horn, in the mix with the Maghreb component in the mix with the Iberian Marusians and and the Ethio-Somali component came in through like South Arabia, you know what I'm saying, and through the Arabian Peninsula, through the Horn, you know what I'm saying. It was in the mixing with people in the Red Sea Hills, and people was inner circling, the Red Sea into Arabia from East Africa. They were trading obsidian during that time. I showed y'all that when we were talking about the overview of the genetic history of West Africa. I mean, not West Africa, Africa, period. We were talking about the genetic, that was my first, comeback show. We were talking about the overview of the genetic history of Africa. Let me show y'all this though. He said, yeah. Some of the A groups would, because truth be told, the Kushites, We're gonna talk about the migration of Kushites too on one of these shows. But this could play a part in it too. But you know what I'm saying, on the backdrop, the Kushites don't originally come from the Horn. The ancestors come from the Horn area, like deep in the Horn, like the early Proto-Afro-Asiatic speakers. But as they branched out and became divergent, became Proto-Cushitic people, they became Proto-Cushitic in the Red Sea Hill area. You know what I'm saying? In that stretch of land directly north of the Horn. You know what I'm saying? This little stretch of land that stretches all the way up north into, that crosses, that spans between Egypt and Sudan. In that Red Sea Hill area, you know what I'm saying, on that coastline of the Red Sea. That's where the Proto-Cushitic populations, you know what I'm saying, really started at. And some of them, and even them, they like from there, you know what I'm saying, during the Greens here and Green phase, even some of them was even in the Eastern deserts, the A groups was in the East, not the Eastern desert, but the Eastern Sahara, which is the Western desert. They from the Eastern desert, but it always wasn't desert though. They used to cultivate. That was like pre-agricultural pastoralists. And it became, desiccated, you know what I'm saying, during the time when it started to become desert again. And they started migrating south into the Horn, you know what I'm saying, starting around, at the beginning, like around 6th millennium. Then, beginning like the 6th millennium, but then like around the 4th millennium BC, they really start, you know what I'm saying, going in deeper south into the Horn, settling, like around 3500 BC. Let me show you what I got though. I keep forgetting to show you what I got. But yeah, I'm sipping on that Uncle Nerve, that premium whiskey, black on. Chilling tonight. Let me show y'all this. Share my screen. Yeah, baby. I got this right here, y'all. They don't never show y'all this though. No. Let me show y'all what this is. Right here. Geoff Ibrahim and Bruce Barr Williams. Oxford Handbook of Ancient Nubia. And this book right here, shoot, I got this book right here for free, but it's crazy. This book, I looked this book up. This book on for the physical copy. My daughter's children dead. But even the digital copy of this costs $160, and the physical copy costs $170, like $170 something to get this book. So this that shit. I got and I got I also have see, that can't play with me, bro. And this a 2020 book. This ain't no old shit. This the newest shit. Oxford Handbook of Ancient Nubia. I got that shit. It's like a Draco. You know what I'm saying? Them old dudes, they got revolvers and shit like that. They don't got that work like me. It's like that Draco right here. Look at it. Show y'all when this book came out. talk about some experts. Talk about what the experts saying right now. Right here. Oxford University, Press 2020. See, we can talk about Nubia all day. That's why I said this show got to be in increments. It's just the introduction to this topic. Wow. I got the hard copy. You find the free digital. Yep. Mm-hmm. A lot of people got it, but a lot of people ain't reading it though. That's the Maria Gatto right here. The A group in the 4th millennium BC Nubia. Like I said, we're gonna start with the wiki though. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get into all that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna use this as a reference book.
Are you calling self-employed?
Let me get real quick. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, you say, yeah, my Walker was on me and G. It said it come from trans caucus like Jordan. But my particular branch, my particular G branch came into Europe with the Yemenis. You know, some of them was R, some of them was G. You know, even when they was at the beginning of the Yemeni stage, they were like, you know, they were steep pastoral people in the mix with, you know, Iranian farmers or Neolithic farmers. And they created like a society between themselves, you know, between that. And then they migrated during the late Bronze Age, migrated west into Europe. The first wave was like, someone was like the Proto-Celtic people. You know, that's my lineage came through, like the Proto-Celtic people, the Gaelic people, you know what I'm saying? Some of them was all through France, uh, France and the British Isles and Spain. You know what I'm saying? Before other people migrated into the areas, before it became Romanized. Before you had like the Gallo-Romans, and that's the G-Mark came through that. It came through that. Eventually, when the Normans took over England, they had the admixture with the the Gaelic Romans, with the Franks, all them people was mixing in France, and they migrated into migrated to England through the Normans with William the Conqueror. That's when he introduced that G mark. I'm like according to National Geographic, I'm like 10% Jewish, but ancestry say I'm like 4%, Ashkenazi Jews. You know what I'm saying? And then too, when William the Conqueror, when he came into when he came into England, from France, where they conquered England, that's when the Jews came into England. So that's probably when my G mark came for lineage, probably some type of Jew. Some Jew that migrated into England. That's when the Jews came in. Even my last name is Gilliam. It's like a variation of the Gilliam is a variant of the same name as William. It's carry the same cognitive meaning. Even the name Iam, you know what I'm saying? Iam, Gilliam, William, Gilliam in French. Yeah, but even that last name or that surname or William period only became popular when William the Conqueror came into England. That name, nobody really like that name became popular in Britain and England. From the Normans, the French speaking Normans when they came and conquered England. He's very good guy, yeah. Okay, y'all. Nubia. But this article dope, like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of this is a Jew. A lot of people don't really read this. We're gonna get into it too, because a lot of people got a misconception about the Nubians and the Kermites. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, especially the elite Kermites. A lot of the elite Kermites in them is like they would have, they would have had a lot of, Cushitic and North African type affinities too, mixed in with the Nilo-Saharan, mixed in with the Nilo-Saharan lineage. I just blew up like that. There we go. All right. Let me see some people some links, man. No, G2A didn't don't do Africa, we can't do England. I'm African American, you know that, we all mixed up over here. We all creolized. Get into Nubia. Y'all know, you know what I'm saying? The basis of Nubia. Nubia is really a loaded term too, because like the area, like the area that's a more recent name for the area, and also the people, the language group. Even the language group itself uh is not even really, called Nubia by, like the people. It is now, modern times, but originally, it was no Nubian languages, they just coined it now. But in modern times, times go on, people identify themselves as Nubians, especially during the Roman area. When the Romans conquered, people became more Romanized. Because the term itself comes from a Roman term. It's branched off from the original Egyptian term "nub" for gold, but Nubia, or the land of gold, it comes from a Roman, Romanesque term. Like Nubia is a region along the Nile River. We all know, we all know this right here. It all came from the Nile River. The basics, but I'm gonna get into the etymology of it. Because we don't know what it, break it down to what it really means. And the actual people groups, the different nomenclatures, the different areas, the toponyms. Yeah, they would. You're right about that. They would deny it, but it's there though. Even though it happened way back, especially after the what I'm saying, the Arabic what I'm saying, phase of Egypt. And then let it be known too, the C group, you got different Nubians, like the people of Kerma and the C group people are two different people. You know what I'm saying? Like the Kermites, what they call the Kushites. Even by me saying that, the Kushites, that's not the name that they would call themselves. That's Egyptian Egyptian known for those people. They didn't call themselves Kushites until after somewhere around the 1500s BC, after Tutmosis conquered the Pata area. After they took over and reclaimed the areas in Lower Nubia, which is like the C group area, because the Kermites conquered that area in the intermediate phase of Egypt. They conquered Lower Nubia. And then the Egyptians took Lower Nubia back over and pushed the Kermites back further in. But they ended up conquering Napata, and the Napatians became more what I'm saying, and the Napatians was like at first like a minor kingdom of Kerma. They was like the next ones, the next lineages in power. After the Kermites kind of, what I'm saying, was going in decline. And the Napatians became more Egyptianized. And then eventually, they start calling themselves, Cushites themselves. Just like African Americans, like, we didn't call ourselves Black before we came here, once you get more influence with other people, so you start using they, they social, social constructs, from that particular, regime and dominant culture. Or dominant culture influence, but culture too, at the same time, don't get me wrong, you don't always have to be the dominant culture to have influence on the culture. Sometimes other culture, like back and forth, like, African American culture, even though it's all mixed up, it played a heavy role in in American or U.S. History, period. Or I like to call West Sudanic Creole U.S. American culture. I'm trying to get up into. I was just reading this article here. Okay, I'm gonna get into the geography. Right, it is like, Nehesi. It simply just could be just mean so the word the Nehesi is a mixed term. I didn't say it's a mixed term, but a lot of people, have different debates on what it actually means. Nobody really knows. It can mean so some people say it means the people that live in the river. You know what I'm saying? Or because they also call it sometimes land in the Hesse, especially Lower Nubia. But I think the Hesse, it's representing some of the Nile-Sahareans that live in those regions. They live closer to the river areas, those aquatic, they call aquatic people, Christopher Eric called. But
No, I have not even told. I'm a scholar on this. Because I thought so.
hold on, yeah, I missed it. No, the Nubian C group came from the A group. The C group is like later, later rendition of the A group. The A group was just a more, wealthier, during that time period. They were nomadic pastoralists, there was Cushitic populations, overall, of course they would have been them themselves, they would have had a little bit, Nilo-Saharan admixture too. They would have had some Nilo-Saharan admixture too, because they were, they were immediate neighbors with Nilo-Saharan population. Like Nilo-Saharians and Cushitic populations, they start dealing with the cows, cattle around the same time. Trading with the North Uritic people, which is the Cushitic people's cousins, more northern cousins. In the northern Uritic, the northern Eritreic, you call it Eritreic or Uritic. So I say Eritreic. The northern Eritreic people uh would have been like the, the people that clustered it, or or the proto people would have, the proto branch, it would have been the mother of the proto Chadic, the proto Egyptian, proto Amazigh, and the proto Semitic, Afro-Asiatic people. He said, move like you wild, bro. I'm adding the link. Come on, man. If y'all want to come on, man, y'all can come. Y'all welcome to come on the show. It is what it is. We can all build. It's all cool over here. My show ain't all, my show ain't all rowdy. It's like, it's like the hood over here. The hood ain't all rowdy. It ain't like what it's supposed to be. Like, look, you gotta stand on your toes. We chilling over here. We in the cut. We in the hood, but we in the cut chilling. You know what I'm saying? Laid back show. You know what I'm saying? We just get it in. Talk about information. You say, okay, Nubia was divided into 3 major regions: Upper Nubia, Lower Nubia. Lower Nubia is reference to the locations along the Nile River. Lower reference regions downstream, further north, and upper regions upward, further south. Lower Nubia lay between the first and second cataract within the current borders of Egypt. Middle Nubia lay between the second and third cataracts, and Upper Nubia lay south of the third cataract. And like the further south you'll go, especially southwest, southwest and a little bit, around the Abbey, a little bit east. Those are like predominantly Nilosaurian areas. But you still would have had a Cushitic presence there. This would have been, more numbers of, the Nilosaurian presence there. You still had the gas group, to the immediate east. Like I said, the Cushitic, the Proto-Cushitic ancestral home is that Red Sea Hill area. It's not even really the Horn. They deep ancestors come from the Horn, like those Proto-Amadic people. They stayed around the Horn. But even when the Cushitic people start moving south back into the Horn, it was overlapping South Afrasians or Proto-Amadic groups, what they call Northern nomadic groups, which a lot of them don't even exist no more because some of the Cushitic groups overlapped it. They became absorbed into the Cushitic population. Yeah, they moved back. Yeah, they moved from the southern Red Sea Hill area, like directly, directly north of the Ethiopian highland. But the ancestors, would have all, roamed all through them areas anyway. They just was a branch that just so happened to, develop in those, regions, especially they most southern at one point in time, like around the wet phase on the Haliocene, because they would have branched off. The Cushitic people would have already branched off, became distinct around 15,000 years ago from other northern Afro-Asiatic populations, like the northern, like the proto-northern Eritreic, some I said the Egyptians, the Semitic, Amazigh, and the Chadic came from, and and they would have branched off, but like around the wet phase, like the Paleocene wet phase, they most southern, you know what I'm saying, arm of the Proto-Cushitic people would have been like northern Eritrea. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit more southern Eritrea area, you probably we still would have had Amadic, northern Amadic people in those areas. You know what I'm saying? Even before they start, like some of the Amadic people got pushed into like southwest Ethiopia, to the more deeper southern highlands, and some areas into the lowlands. People start moving all over eventually, because even some of the Cushitic people, as they would start moving further south with certain conditions, during the drying period, as they start moving back into the Horn, you know what I'm saying, a lot of them start moving to the lowland. Like even the Somali language is a branch, what they call lowland, eastern lowland Cushitic population. So it came from the what Christopher Eric called the Omotana branch. And from the Omotana, you would have had, Somali, and other various other branches too. Khans Romo, so which the Romo come from. The whole not the whole, but Saho language, you know what I'm saying, Djibouti, you know what I'm saying, all the different languages. Look, this is the beginning. Next show I'm gonna get this more structured. I just wanted to build and chill tonight. You know what I'm saying? Talk some little shit. Then the Amazigh and the Egyptian branch off. And then EV32, the shit branched off from EV12. Yeah, they like some of them branches, they migrated back in, like back from forth. Like even EVM, like all of them come from EVM 78, branches. Anyway. People was just in the mix and migrating back and forth, because even Cushitic people was mixing with Egyptian people, like the northern Afro-Asiatic speaking people, who even from their back, from like, for real, truth be told, the ancestor of Egyptian languages, because Cushitic people, because the Cushitic people represent a basal people of Afro-Asiatic people when they first moved like to the north. You know what I'm saying? Before they like, you know what I'm saying? These would have been the people that in the mix with the Iberian Maroosians. They would have been the two people that would have in the mix with the Iberian Maroosians. They would have like, looked like Cushitic populations like contemporaries now, you know what I'm saying? Somewhat. You know what I'm saying? They would have themselves, would have had themselves still would have had a basal Eurasian component mixed in with them anyway, coming in from Southern Arabia and shit, back and forth, migrating in, from around that Red Sea area through the Sinai, back in, you know what I'm saying, around Arabia, back into the, for many a time. Hey, this was where the proto Somali, they did, they did come from the north, but where they, migrated to it. Proto Somali people. This is where the lowland East Cushitic population would have migrated from. All the Cushitic people would have migrated, from the north in, you know what I'm saying, after in between 5500 BC and 3500 BC, in between in. Because even after 3,500 BC, that's when you see the Cushitic people actually, other Cushitic people actually start bringing in, like more northern Cushitic people start coming in and bringing wheat and barley into like the Horn regions. And that's how you know, like the Horn, like according to Christopher Airlock, I read in the African Civilization book, he said even in far as like wheat and barley, to even be able to grow in those areas, like in East Africa, that you know those regions would have been similar anyway. You know what I'm saying? These people already would have been developing the same type of similar environments. Wheat and barley didn't grow nowhere else but the Horn of Africa. You know what I'm saying? Cultivated, was able to grow in those highland, cool, rainy season areas. Yeah, that's just what it's called. You know, people that are like, I don't know who people that's there, but the Omotan, that's just what they call it as the language family. It's not a particular, I know it's still people that are still contemporary, but they still could probably represent a basal branch of lowland Eastern Cushitic languages that still exist. Just like in Wolof, come from the Lebu language. The Lebu language still exists. Let me see. We're getting into some other shit. We ain't even talking about Nubia. I gotta answer the questions though for my folks though. Let me see. One more time. I might even change the title of this show. I don't know. Because I want the Nubia show. You know what I'm saying? This is the overview of time. All right, okay. 208. It's African civilization. You know how we get it in. Okay. Well, I heard it say, we're gonna jump back into the Nubia shit too, but I just want to get this in for my bro right here. No, we're good. I'm just gonna get this in real quick. A second major expansion of lowland Eastern Kushites got underway during the second half of the first millennia. Continues involved in these developed spoke languages we call Eastern Omotana. One Eastern Omotana group, the Proto-Somali, moved south into the last few. This does most recent history. We're gonna talk about that though. We're gonna talk about that on another show though. We're gonna get it in. How bad. We're gonna get it in. Because I gotta look up, because that's the more recent. I got the more later origins too. Right here, okay, prehistory. In prehistoric times, North Africa was mostly accompanied by nomadic cattle herders. The Khartoum Mesolithic was highly advanced culture in southern Nubia and near modern Khartoum. They created sophisticated pottery that is perhaps the oldest known in the world. And they talking about it was different type of pottery there too. You had the wavy line pottery. You know, the wavy line pottery was like the Cushitic people pottery. And then you had the not the wavy line pottery. I'm sorry, the black top pottery. The black top pottery was the Cushitic people pottery. But you know, they traded. You know what I'm saying, taught that type of pottery to other people, whatever. And then you had the wavy line pottery, which is the Nilo-Saharan people pottery. No, the wavy line pottery, they was Nilo-Saharan. That was the aquatic tradition, definitely. But the black top pottery was Cushitic. Okay. By 500 BCE, the people who inhabited what is now called Nubia participated in Neolithic revolution. The Sahara became drier and people began to domesticate sheep, goats, and cattle. But you know the sheep and goats, of course, they was brought in. Sheep, goats, and cattle were brought in, from Asia. They migrated in from Asia. Sometimes even the cows, you know what I'm saying? Even sometimes the cows even migrated themselves, not even so necessarily with people. You had wild cows too, and you had domesticated cows. Some of the wild cows, still was hunted and herded, but wasn't quite domesticated. And particularly by like Nilo-Saharan and some of the Cushitic populations, they still hunted, what I'm saying, the wild cow at first before they start practicing pastoralism. But they even developed their own independent versions of pastoralism. That's why it's so tricky about when they say, the origins of pastoralism in Africa. That's why I say it happened 3 different times independently. That's why the cows and that you find the cow remains that they found in southeastern in southeastern Sahara were a mixture of domesticated cows and wild oryx. You know what I'm saying? It was mixed with the Bostorian, and it had some morphology of like wild oryx. And then too, like people in Sahara too, like even like some Nilo-Saharan people, and so also first early proto Niger Congo people was herding Barbary sheep even before the Asian sheep came in. But the sheep wasn't like they was just tame. They wasn't necessarily domesticated. They just was tame. You know what I'm saying? It's like taming a wild animal. It kind of reared in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? A certain direction. So they could be hunted, utilized and eaten for meat. You know what I'm saying? It's a food source. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they mixed different breeds of cattle. Because even like eventually you had like the Indian cows start coming in too, the hump cow, the zebu cow. And then that's why it's so many, man. I got an article, a scientific article that talk about the different cow hybrids that's all throughout Africa, man. There's so many different hybrids. And that's why it's so tricky. Like you don't even know where the cow end and begin. There's so many hybrids in Africa. Okay. I'm gonna blaze up real quick. Hold on real quick. Hold on, y'all. Real quick. Big ass dog over here chilling. Big as Hold on real quick, yeah. I'll be right back. Hold on. Oh yeah, he said he said a Somali playing the camel. Yeah, I think that's true too, bro. You know what I'm saying? The Somali did play a role in domesticating camel. I don't even think they were domesticated. Because you had Somali people in Southern Arabia. They probably marketed the camel. They probably marketed the camel and sold them. You know what I'm saying? Probably could have been Arabs and Somalis at the same damn time. You know what I'm saying? Doing that shit together. Yeah, but Bedouins, yeah, you say Bedouins, but Bedouins ain't even a monolith. Bedouins is just different people. It's like Bagavan people that just in the mix with each other and like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a homeless population, like kind of like the newer version of Hebrews, Hebrew people. People just moving the fro just outside of society. They like more than they like a all mixed up and shit. Like gypsies. Yeah. Yeah, look, by 500 BC, the people who inhabited what is now called Nubia participated in the Neolithic Revolution. The Sahara became drier and people began to domesticate sheep and goats and cattle. Saharan rock reliefs depict scenes that have been thought to suggest that the presence of cattle coat, typical of those seen throughout parts of East Africa and the Nile Valley, even to this day. And by the way, y'all, the cattle coats, the cattle coats would have been, a trade off of culture. It wouldn't have just been, Nilo-Saharan people, you know what I'm saying, practicing the cattle coats. It would have been also Cushitic populations too, who actually like turned this cow thing into like to a coat. And then that would have been traded off into like the Nakata, Kata culture, eventually. Or the Badorian culture, Badorian culture, like for us, the cattle culture. But shoot, but some of the northern Utica had northern Eritrea people had cows anyway though too. They just we had different, very different cow, people that come, the people that have a different approach to the cow. But here it say, where it say, typical of those seen throughout parts of East Africa and the Nile Valley on the cattle coast. Nubian rock art depicts hunters using bows and arrows in the Neolithic period, which was precursors of Nubian archer culture in later times. Megaliths at Nabta examples of what seems to be one of the world's first astronomical devices, predating Stonehenge by almost 2,000 years. This proximity has expressed the different levels of authority within the society that likely form basis of structure both in Neolithic society, the Pata and South, I said South, but Old Kingdom of Egypt. And two, the Nabta area in the like Nubian deserts, the Nubian desert area is the modern day Nubian desert. That that region would have been mostly Nilo-Saharan, and it would have had a big Cushitic people there too. But the area, what I'm saying, would have been like your population wise would have been heavy like Nilo-Saharan population. Those particular pastoralism. But you still would have had, people trading, like the A group still came into those areas and traded, coming in from the east or whatever. You still would have had Cushitic peoples in those areas too, mixing in. That's the cultural entanglement that we that Maria Gatos talked about. Okay, Joseph Vogel wrote that the period when sub-Saharan Africa was most influential in Egypt was the time when neither Egypt, as we understand it, is culturally, nor the Sahara, as we understand it, geographically existed. Like it was no Egypt, so we really can't say Nubia is the mother of Egypt because it wasn't no Nubia then. It wasn't no Egypt then. The cultures there, what you did have was, different Afro-Asiatic populations, which was the northern Eritreic populations, which would have been the ancestors of the Egyptians, who would have been the Badarians, the Fahim A people, and the Nakada populations, all of different populations. And they would have been a cousin group to the Cushitic populations that was just a little bit further south, you know what I'm saying, and directly east in the Red Sea Hill areas. And then you would have had a population that was more heavy in the south, which is not a Saharan population, but you still would have had some sprinkled in a bit up north too, but just not as numerous. You know what I'm saying? They would have been more so dominant in the upper Nubia area, or upper Sudan. You know what I'm saying? The southern Sudan. He says, "Cause legal." Hey, I don't shit. It's legal where I don't care. What it is, you hear me? Okay. Joseph V. Okay, Joseph V was on point. His source come from shoot. Yeah. Gifts in the Nile, climate change, origins, Egypt, civilization, interaction with Northeast Africa. Look what they say. Across the Mediterranean, along the Nile. I gotta get that. It's 2018. It's Stuart Tyson Smith. I gotta download that. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm getting to the linguistics too. That's important. A lot of people don't know the languages is very important. Like the languages, you can tell who is who. You know, some a lot of times. Like for instance, right? Uh, the Kerman language. You know what I'm saying? Based on the latest though, the latest, you know what I'm saying, data on or whatever. They say it's not a Saharian, but you know, it could be tricky because it still have Cushitic loan word. You know what I'm saying? In some of the, in some of the tonages or whatever. But even like, African American vernacular, you know, even though it's English, it ain't like standard English or like, European American English. Our particular branch of English is more creolized. Like you could tell, like it have more, a Niger Congo, undertone a little bit. As far as grammar and shit like that. See right here it say, historically, the people in Nubia spoke at least two varieties of Nubian language group. Remember I say Nubian languages are basically which are calling Nubian, because in the A group culture, the C group culture, when they spoke Nubian languages, which is a Nilo-Saharan languages, which is classified as Eastern or Northeastern Sudanic languages, which is a Nilo-Saharan branch. It was very different dialects that had their own names and different names for their own language, like Ma and all that. Like even in language they call Nubian language, it's really the Ma language. Let me show you. Nubian languages. These different, you know what I'm saying, different various, different Nubian languages. Even though Nabin is like what they call Nubian proper, like actual Nubian. And you see what the language actually called? Ma'as. Only reason it's called Nubian or Nabin today because once upon a time these people became Romanized. And the term comes from Roman. These people allied, like the Nabateye kingdom, the modern Nubian, term come from the Nabateye kingdom, and it became, it became Romanized. They linked up with the Romans, and they start identifying themselves as, Nubian, like Nabateye. You know what I'm saying? Because they are Nile speakers. Nabateye is just a variation of Nubian, or Nubian or Nubi from the Romans. They just attached it to their own language. But their actual language is Ma'at. That's the actual Nubian language, but you got different various other dialects too. That's still considered as Nubian languages. You know what I'm saying? Which is these branches that's related. These northeastern Sudanic languages. So you got various different dialects. Hill Nubian. But these not like, you know what I'm saying? They not actually called Nubian. People call that all their own self. They self these languages represent cultural populations and people. You got to realize that. See the Nubian. C group pre-Nubian. Because the C group, even though they would have been Afro-Asiatic, some of them would have probably spoke, or had their own version of the Nubian language. They would have been, they would have been bilingual. This is just an old model. This could be an old model. Because some scholars do think that C group spoke Nilo-Saharan language. I beg to differ. The most updated, based on Julian Cooper, he say, no, based on his data, them saying that they speak Nilo-Saharan is a little outdated. The C group. This could be an older model. But the C groups did interact and intermarry and mix with Nilo-Saharans themselves. Just like, you do always do that. Like even like even anywhere you do that. Same way like the Maasai people or mixture Nilo-Saharan and Cushitic people, that they from this same reaction, this same interaction. They intermix with some of the northern Cushitic population when the ancestors, when the Maasai, when they was a little bit up north in southern, in like the southern Nile area, the ancestors, when they migrated to Kenya area or more southeastern Africa, they start mixing in with the South Cushitic population that was already there. I already mixed in with some of the Khoi people, the Sunday people, but the Sadaway people. So now Bartu Nara, and Nara is Nara languages is in Eritrea. But C group, but the C groups eventually would have spoken out Saharian languages, but they still probably would have had they would have dropped that's why I think this what they talking about right here. Pre-Nubian C group into old Nubian Meroe, old Daholo. They made old Nubian. But it was essentially been its own thing with overlap. But the C groups eventually would have spoken Nilo-Saharan when the Kerma people took them over. And usually when languages, when language other gets taken over, they still would have probably had like a Cushitic base, even when the language switched to the paradigm switch. No, the Khoisan didn't get that mix from the Oromo. The Khoisan got that mix from Southern Kushites, like the Araku and people like that. They migrated there way before the Oromo was even in Kenya. The Oromo people moved, or the Oromo or Eastern Kushites. It's a difference between Southern Kushites and Eastern Kushites. Southern Kushites moved southward first. They moved, so they was in Southeast Africa first. They migrated to Kenya and all those areas first. And then the Eastern Kushites moved in a little later when they settled like within northern Kenya. They didn't go as far as south as the Eastern, not the Eastern, but the Southern Kushites. See, like the Southern Kushite languages are like let me see. Yeah, the Southern Kushite language like Araku and languages like that. Like yeah, there's different various ones. Even a lot of them, like even the Southern Kushites, they would have been played a part in even the Watutsi and who they became, like the enemies with the Watutsi Bantu people. Also, you know what I'm saying, the same people also would have been mixed in with the Himba people too, you know what I'm saying, mentioned these different Algerian groups. What's good with it? Concrete. What's good with it, Corey? Put in the link. I'm gonna come in, bro. Let's get to the language again. Okay, historically, the people of Nubia spoke at least two varieties of the Nubian languages group. A subfamily that includes Nabin, the descendant of Old Nubian, Kinzui, the Galo, Bidon, and several related varieties of northern part of Nuba Mountains and South Kadofia. What's good with it, bro?
Gully, you can hear me, man?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What's up with it? What's up with it? You going in and out?
Peace, man. Peace.
You going in and out.
Can you hear me now? I'm trying to switch up I'm in the vehicle right now.
Yeah,
I just came through just to show some support for you, bro. I see you've been going live lately and shit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my foot into the
Going
game.
in on
Come from my perspective, man. And
Definitely,
show people my own wings, and I can stand on my own. I ain't like people try to like line me up with a goes, but I'm my own man. You know what I'm saying? I got my own views and shit. You know what I'm saying? Even certain things me and the goes disagree on sometimes. We go back and forth on some shit. Like when we be having like personal conversations. But you know what I'm saying, overall, you know what I'm saying, still cool, whatever, you know what I'm saying. It ain't even, it ain't even nothing major.
yeah. I like the individuality. I think everybody should, have their own be able to have their own opinions and show individuality. I think that's what broadens the conversation anyway, on any subject matter. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
helps the conversation, be broad and actually it helps one learn, because everybody, people don't know everything. You know what I'm saying?
nah, we don't know
We can
that's
all
why I
learn
said I
something
made
from
this
each
channel
other.
to make it a slow down channel. Because a lot of people say, we speak so fast because we trying to get it out. Motherfucker can be quick to jump over and talk over. I made this channel to make it slow down and people to understand and ask questions.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah. Because I think a lot of times that is an issue with you and Ngozi. Y'all it seems like y'all get talked over a lot and y'all try to get everything out in one sentence. You know what I mean? It's So it go over
Yeah,
people's heads a lot of the time, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, a
yeah,
lot of,
definitely,
and then
man.
you got people that they'll think you agree with them, but they don't hear your whole, they don't let you finish your whole viewpoint, because they don't like when like a lot of time when I teach, it's a plot twist somewhere in there. They don't want they don't wait for the plot twist.
Right. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know, you may like it, you may agree with one point, but the overall point you may have a disagreement on. Yeah. So yeah, they gotta let you get the whole statement out or get your whole thought out. Definitely. Yeah, I just tuned in though, so you know, I didn't really catch all of it. I don't know if you just started or how long you've been going, but
Now I be going in.
you
That's why I
going
just
in
be
on
really kind of just chilling out and just trying to build some of the audience that ask some questions. I go in on that. This kind of like this show, this topic gonna take more than one show. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to break down the different nuances in Nubia. This show is not a monolith.
yeah,
Even like
yeah.
when
I'm
Uncle them
gonna
say, uh, Egypt, Nubia is the mother of Egypt. It wasn't no Nubia then.
and the whole Nubia thing is it's such a nuanced conversation. I think it's been a lot of blanket statements, you know, about Nubia in general. Um, because I think when you're speaking of Nubia, you definitely got to be specific about the time period you're talking about, um, because we know these is different groups, different ethnic groups in this region or area that they call Nubia, right? The people themselves um, ain't necessarily Nubian, I guess you would say. I just think it's a term that was used for the people who were residents in that area. I guess if you were like if you in Florida, you're a Floridian, right?
Yeah,
But then you move to Illinois, then you're Illini or whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But so I just think it's something that they use for the people that was living in the area. I don't think that the people themselves referred to themselves as Nubians. As
yeah.
far as
And even the people that do,
with my
and even the
research,
people that do is from more recent
I was
times.
gonna say maybe in later, yeah, maybe in the later day, like you know, in modern times, that may be the case, right? But I think historically that was not the case. But I'm going to visit the Oriental Institute here in a couple weeks, and so I'm gonna have to hook up with Ngozi or whatever. I gotta give him a phone call and see if either he can help me out, if he can meet me down there or something, and we can chop it up down there. You know what I mean? Eat some lunch and you know get some information. Go through the museum and you know just to get some information from what the museum have there on display. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
most definitely.
that's one of the things I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get that done before I you know go live and get my show started. You know, I want to kind of do a little bit of different thing. I'm gonna touch on. I ain't really my show ain't really gonna be about Egypt and Nubia and the rest of it, but I do want to nail that down and get that out of the way
That's what I'm doing.
first.
That's
Mhm.
definitely what I'm doing. I'm getting this out the way first,
Mhm.
so we can wash our hands clean, and then my major show is gonna be about like the origins of West Africa. And I'm gonna get into like some world history
That's a
too.
good. And that's interesting because man, I've been looking into some of the early West African history, and I'm finding is especially on the genetic side, right? I'm finding that at least people like me, right, necessarily my at least my genetic population ain't been around that long. So I think I had a whole outlook on how Africa was and the population and the people. I think I had a wrong idea about it, and so it's just been an interesting journey here lately that I've been going on as far as some of the things I've been reading uh, in genetics and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like
Yeah.
my genetics only go back like 10,000 at the most. I think it's I can't remember my whole line. It's L3 something 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 something. And it tells you, when you look at the genetic history, they can only trace that back.
You talking about your mitochondria? You talking about your mitochondria?
Yeah, mtDNA. Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's your mother. That's your mother lineage. Yeah, that's your mother. That's your mother lineage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the lineage. That's my lineage that goes back to Ghana, right? My mom, she was born in Ghana, but those mutations, right? Those mutations are very young.
Yeah, that's because that L3 branches are very young. Branch out the L3
Let me
family.
see. It's not just L3. It's something behind that. Let me look at it.
Yeah, because if it's L3, L3 got various different branches. And some are more older than the others, some more younger. But L3, overall, like the basal L3 is the mother of everybody else. It's the mother of Eurasians, like M and E shit.
Right. That's your base. See, so I'm L3E2B1A. And so when you look at that, right, that haplogroup, right?
It came from East Africa through the Chad.
I'm not gonna be able to find.
Do you say your mama Fulani?
Yeah, well, my grandfather was Fulani.
Okay.
Yeah. Now he was his grandparents, they were Nigerian now.
Okay. Yeah, because you got nuances. You got nuances in West Africa, so everybody ain't just one thing. People that cross borders and go into different areas.
Mm. Let me see what I was.
But that L3, even that branch, it came in from East Africa one point in time. Because L2 is the more dominant mitochondrial MT marker in West Africa overall.
They was talking about it was like between 6 and 10,000.
Yeah. I got L1. I got an L1 branch.
Mm-hmm.
They say my particular branch is like it's more recent too. It's from like it's from a mutation that was like originally Bantu, but it hybridized with like pygmy or twa type.
I'm not gonna be able to find it right now. Damn it. Hold on. Maybe I will.
You know what your paternal lineage is?
Your paternal lineage?
Yeah. My paternal lineage is RC RCT S446. That's my haplogroup.
Oh, you got a R. I got a G2 mark.
I got a G2 mark.
Yeah, my paternal is R.
I'm Caucasian for real. If they dug my bones up, they dug my bones up, they would look at my paternity. They're like, this nigga was a Caucasian.
Right. Is R, what's R? I don't even know what R is. That's some type of Asian or something.
No, that's European. But of course, you know, Europeans or Asian.
Europeans or Asian.
Right, I guess so. Yeah.
He came from Central Asia.
Central Asia.
Yeah.
And it migrated,
my father's
Europe.
Yeah, my dad, he was mixed pretty much. My grandfather that I was closest with.
Yeah.
My grandfather that raised me, he was pretty much mixed, so, you know.
Yeah.
If you look at my family tree, it gets, because I know all of my family on that side, on my dad's side, personally.
Yeah.
And yeah, they high yellow.
Yeah, I got a lot of light skinned people in my
father,
family too. But my mother is the brown. My mother's the darkest sister. Like all my aunties are light skinned, but my mother's the darkest one.
Yeah. I think my dad is the darkest one. But my sisters and brothers, though, they all high yellow. I'm the blackest one out of all my sisters and brothers. None of them black like me. I'm the only one that's black like that.
Wow.
Me and my mama.
Wow.
Because even on her side, like they high yellow over there too. Because like my grandmother on my mom's side, she American. You know what I mean? She African American. She from Georgia. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it was some funny business going on there because the farther you go back, the more high yellow they get. You know what I mean?
Oh, so your mother would have got her L3 from African American one.
Oh yeah, is that what that is? From my grandmother. She would have got that from my grandmother.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that L3 would have came in through the transatlantic slave trade. Probably came.
Well, you know, they was all, you know, they was a British colony over there. You know what I'm saying? In Ghana for a long time too. So I mean, that's the thing about Ghana and America. Like, I think the genes is pretty much. I think that everything is pretty stayed the same because. I heard somebody else say the other day, if you go to Ghana, you'll see a nigga that be like, "Hey man, ain't that my cousin right there? Hold on, what you doing?" You know what I'm saying? Like everybody just look like niggas. They look like African Americans over there.
Yeah, that's all over.
That's
all over West Africa, though. Nigeria, Senegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, but now I'm saying like you said your mother, you said your mother's mother. You said she was African American,
She American,
but her father was from Ghana.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So
He just moved my grandmother when she was pregnant. He was, you know, he worked for a energy company. So they had to,
okay.
you know, they had to be back in Ghana, and that's when my mom was born. You know what I'm saying? She
Yeah.
was born. My mom and my auntie was born because they was living back in Ghana. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But that lineage would have. I don't know your grandmother, your mother's mom, family history. But if she, mostly African American, that L3 lineage would have, would have some women through that with that same L3 would have came through the transatlantic slave trade from through the Americas, and then then eventually your Khan father would have genes would have linked up with your uh, grandmother's African American.
Yeah, it's crazy, you know. Yeah, but yeah, I want to definitely excuse me. I definitely want to nail down this whole Nubia. So what was you saying about this the linguistics?
No, I was showing
Nubians.
like
You
the
know, I had a
content.
question though. I had a question though.
Yeah.
Actually, Gella. So you
Okay.
know about the Nubians today, the modern like Nubians
Yeah.
that's in Nubia today.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm reading, right, those people, right, got there, I think, like 300 BC. They drifted up there, right, from because I'm looking and it says that their lineage goes back to South Sudan.
Yeah.
They
It it
Cordovians.
it
They,
it do, but it does. It's not like super recent. Like them people, like them Nilo-Saharan people.
no, they've been there since 300 BC.
You talking about in modern?
That's what I'm BC, you know, and then
No, let me go to the genetic.
I think yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't think it's like super recent like that. I'm saying like recent is like I guess 300 BC ain't all that recent. I
Yeah, cause
guess.
them particular these particular eastern northeastern Nilo-Saharan languages or populations, uh they would have been like so far north, they would have been like neighbors, neighbors with them Cushitic and them northern Afrasian groups so long that they would have eventually been overlapped and start looking like them, certain range. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that
Right.
shit
Yeah,
go
yeah,
back.
because
That
it
shit
wouldn't
go
have been
back.
a
That shit
bunch
go
of
back into
them.
the mid. That shit go back to the beginning of the Heliocene period. That shit, you know what I'm saying? But the modern, but
Yeah, yeah.
of course they evolve and shit like the modern language that we call the modern language that we call Nubian or Nabian. That particular point or those particular Nilo-Saharians they became Romanized, that particular culture started at that time.
Yeah, they became Christianized, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They was yeah, definitely.
But them people looking like that, like with that mix, that shit been around for a long ass time. But their original, like they base, like they majority of their ancestral base come from them Dinka looking niggas. But they've been up so far north so long that they start looking like Kushites and shit, or Somalian looking niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I ain't on my iPad, so I had a bunch of shit already.
That's why I was saying like what that damn that King Tut shit that they always show with the Nubians and shit.
Yeah, I ain't even on my iPad or whatever, but yeah, I think if you actually, I think in that source you got there up, it talks about them. If you go down, I think you go down a little bit, and you can even look at the map, and it'll go into if you, it'll go if you slide up, it'll talk
Right,
about
yeah, right here.
no, don't click the map, don't click the map, go back out. If you go down, and you'll see the scroll down a little bit more up under there. Oh, it don't have that right there because it scroll up a little bit. Let me see this. All right. Because it'll talk about like the it'll give you some dates on that side of the page, and it'll give you
Right here, where it's at like 600 through 3500 BC.
yeah, and then it'll talk about like the where how long they've been there, and then it'll talk about like their language. It'll give you their language and something else. And then if you look at their language, and then you look at let me look at it. Let me do this, man. I got because I had it up. Fuck. I hate when I be wanting to talk about something.
Somewhere say linguistics.
No. We're just gonna fucking you know what? I ain't got time to do it right now. I don't feel like doing it right now, but what you gotta I ain't gonna do it right now, but yeah, it just talked about in one of these sources. I think it's actually this one where it goes into um they original they got a language. I think it's or it's their original the people they lineage. It's their lineage actually. And it's the God damn it, let me think of the name of these people. The Mubdi or some shit like that. I can't remember the name. Man, I hate when I can't remember shit.
You said the move D.
Yeah, it start with an M, I'm sure. I know for sure it start with an M.
Are you talking about the Makuria?
Oh, scroll up a little bit more. Scroll up a little bit more.
You talking about the Christian kingdom?
Oh no. Yeah, it was the Christian. They was Christians.
Yeah, that's the Mercury.
Is it the Mercury? It might be. I
Yeah,
don't know. It might be. I know it starts with an M.
yeah.
So and then you go if you look at those people, right? The Mercury, if it's those people, I don't think it's them though. No, it's not them. It's not them. It's God damn it, man. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna have to get my shit together and come back on. I was just stopping through really. I didn't have no sources or nothing right now.
Yeah, this show was just kind of like an intro show anyway, because I'm gonna do various shows on this topic, like, cause I got articles too. I got some shit. Shit.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I I don't know. I don't really have a overall point on the whole Nubian thing or whatever. I just or either the Egypt thing, really, man. I think the whole thing just got out of hand, and I don't know, man. It shit just people say things one time one way, and then they able to move around with the whole Egypt thing. So that's why I just wanted to kind of just clear up where I'm at with it, right?
Yeah,
So when I do my channel, I'm just gonna clear up where I'm at with it, and then I'm just gonna move on from it because I think that's a subject matter that's near and dear, to people's heart,
yeah.
and so it's a touchy subject.
It's like a religion, man, to
It's
them
like a
people.
religion, yeah, yeah. So
They don't even want
when
to get
it,
it. It's crazy.
yeah. So
'Cause I look,
that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes down to like somebody's religion, I'm respectable. You know what I'm saying about that, and so that's where how I feel about Egypt and some of these people who've been teaching in the conscious community or whatever.
yeah,
I think you just got to leave them people alone, like Dr. Ben and Ashwa Crazy and Sheikh Abdul Diab and the rest of. You just gotta leave them alone. Those is they sacred people. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I mean, I'm not here to bash nobody's religion or nothing like that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't want to be disrespectful to ones because I wouldn't do that to a Christian. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I
That's how I
wouldn't
feel.
go bashing on a Christian.
Yeah, cause me, I never had like no that type of attachment to them people. Like say like, oh, this my elder. Like my grandfather, my elder. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Right.
like,
That's how I always looked at. That's how I always looked at everything. Like
yeah,
my grandfather is my elder. I mean, like it's like I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Like
I
I never
guess it's different strokes for different
I looked
folks.
up to Dr. Clark because my granddad was big on like civil rights and Malcolm X and stuff. So I'm big on Dr. Clark. You know what I'm saying? But I knew about Sheikh Diab just based on certain science articles, but like the Dr. Ben, some of the other ones, like I was kind of new to them. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah, I never. I was more of a. I'm always been more of an Amos Wilson type guy, and I always more gravitated to him.
Yeah,
More
yeah.
than anything.
I fuck with Amos too.
Yeah, I didn't never get into Dr. Ben thing and all of that.
Yeah, yeah,
It
me either.
wasn't
I ain't
like I
never
said,
really.
because Egypt and all of that was not a thing. That wasn't a big issue for me. It was not something that I was really attached to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And yeah, Amos Wilson was more, on some African American issues. You know what I'm saying? That's where his focus was more. So and it wasn't. He had he had historical points, but he touched on more modern issues. That's
yeah.
where he
Going
was
on
at with
now.
it. The psychology and things like that. You know what I mean? Economics. He was big on economics. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always gravitated to Amos Wilson because he was really, really big on economics. He was an economic scientist, actually. You know what I'm saying?
I
Uh,
like with Dr. Ben. I never gave it to Dr. Ben when he was saying that he was a better Israel dude. He was nothing like them people. I never trusted him saying that. Or same way I don't believe Kevin Gates, Puerto Rican, just a regular Creole nigga from Louisiana. You know?
yeah.
I couldn't,
Yeah, well, I
I
mean,
never trust him. Like I thought,
me, I'm from a place where, you know, you call a ball, you call a strike. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I mean, to me, and I just don't have very many articulate words. You know what I'm saying? I think that's probably my problem. I don't have a whole lot of a broad vocabulary to lay out things in a soft way. So, you know, to me, Dr. Ben is just a snake oil salesman to me. I don't know what else to call it. I don't know like what else category can you put it in? Like if you know something nice, a nicer way to say
I
that.
don't
I
know.
mean,
I don't know. I don't fuck
like you gotta say
I never
if
fuck
it's
with
a
Dr. Ben.
nicer way to say it, it's at least got to be saying honestly what it is, right? You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know what else to say to that, you know. And it seems like I've lost friends and everything because I don't know what else to say to that. You know what I'm saying? That's just all I that's the only thing I can say. You
Yeah,
know, I haven't seen anything different. I haven't like all of these different explanations don't change my mind. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I guess I'm just, you know, I'm not able to have friends or nothing behind, you know, some guy. You know what I'm saying? That I don't even know. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
it is what it is. You know. Uh,
yeah,
like I said, I just don't have the words to put with that. And then, you know, that guy is promoted. You know what I'm saying? As if you know he did some type of great work or something. I don't know. And then it's like you can't have an opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, I don't know. It don't he he didn't do shit to me. Like talk a bunch of shit about Egypt and you know what I mean? In a misleading way. Like everything was misleading about this guy. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Everything was
If
a
you go to the
scheme and a
Wikipedia,
scam.
the Wikipedia is like it talk about like all the shit that he was like all the schemes and shit. That's all Wikipedia, all the schemes.
Yeah, yeah, and it seems like you know that's you know if you point that out, then you ain't allowed, and that's not that's something you can't be doing in this community. You can't point out the scammers and the schemers and nothing, you
Yeah,
know. And
yeah,
yeah, but that's why I'm you know that was my whole point. You know what I'm saying is to make sure you know black people ain't getting scammed and schemed. That's my whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
it's my
I
thing
don't know
too.
like what else everybody else is doing. Like I'm not here to to teach per se. You see what I'm saying? I'm not here to be somebody's teacher. You know, if you want to learn something from me, you only thing you can learn from me is how to pour concrete.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, if people are interested in that, I might do a second channel. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
And I can show people how to pour concrete, right? But I didn't know. I don't know if people even interested in that. You know, so and plus that's hard fucking work. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a lot of people that's smart enough to do something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it is a good trade. It do pay the bills. You know, so if you want if maybe you ain't that. Maybe some people ain't all that smart. They might be like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a person who can work with my hands, right?
yeah,
But yeah, I think I might do a second channel or something.
yeah.
And you know, it can be all about construction and shit like that. But but my thing is to, you know, because I one thing that ain't being said and was not being recognized right,
Yeah,
and this is globally. Yeah, I think this is a global issue that the United States, right? they were in a information war. We've been in an information war probably for the past 15 years, right? And the big secret is not only have we lost that war, right? But we continue to lose the war.
Yeah.
You know, we continue. We've all of the battles on every battlefield of the information war, we lost, and we continue to lose every single battle. We continue to lose, right? And that's the people don't realize, right? The information war is the real war nowadays. You know, people don't really. This is the modern times now. So you ain't all of the shooting and killing and missiles and shit. Like most people in the world don't like that shit no more. You know what I'm saying? So you don't you know when you get like Putin and all of them, like everybody looking like Putin, like bro, the whole world looking at Putin like bro, you on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because the world don't like that gruesome shit, throwing bombs and all this shit, and kids burning and building all that shit is terrible, and the world can see it now, and it's not good. So the forefront, the front line of the war, right, is not really that kind of thing no more. It's the front line of the war is the information war, you know. And me personally, I recognize that we losing it. And another thing, Gullah, is every time something happened, like a war, a pandemic, uh, uh, economic uh, fall, depression, or whatever you call it, a recession, and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
The Black community is always the ones who get hit with the brunt of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at least in America here, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I get on these panels to have these conversations, because I recognize that, and I try to help out. I try to at least build this community up so that we can help one another, right?
Yeah.
Navigate through this misinformation war. Not be the one, so that we not the ones that's being duped, or always the last ones who get the information. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, always have a low percentage of us who are actually enlightened on different areas and subject matter. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why my voice has ever even came on this YouTube. Period. It's not been about Egypt. Egypt is not something that I even have on my mind on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? But the reason why I fought against that a little bit is because that's one of the foundational ways to slick Black people. You see what I'm saying? It seems to me that you get Black people into Egypt, and then next thing you know, they following young Pharaoh and the likes of him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, they damn near ready to drink the Kool-Aid here in a minute. You know what I mean? Like it's a gateway. You know what I'm saying? To the bullshit, to me. And this is my opinion. And I swear to you, Gullah, I'm not meaning no harm to nobody, but man, this shit been going on since like the whole, like white people even went through the whole Egypt thing where they was pseudo as fuck, you know,
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
based on Egypt, you know,
Yeah.
the whole like race science and all of that, you know, was the anthropology and all that came out of Egypt and all of this so crazy. You know, it's just it's Egypt is like I said, it's a gateway to getting slicked to pseudoisms. It's a gateway to trick you out of some money somehow.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
For real. Yeah.
You're gonna send a
That's
donation.
why,
You're not, you know, you're gonna sign up for the Patreon. You're gonna do it's just like black people, it's always somebody in our pocketbook. You see what I'm saying? Trying to sell us some snake oil. You know, and Egypt is a good way to start getting into your pocketbook. Go ahead, Gully. Yeah, my bad. I don't want to rant on your, do no concrete rant on your show or nothing like that, man. Fuck
no,
your show up.
no, I was saying that you know, even from the beginning, like, when they started Team Osiris, I didn't even agree with the name. I was like, why Team Osiris? But you know, those had to explain, you know, it's an acronym. You know, it was created by Khufu. You know what I'm saying? He was into deep, you know, so, but I always knew he was West African people. That's what I taught. You know what I'm saying? But I just ran with
Right, yeah.
it's an acronym, so you know what I'm saying. He Egyptian, so I could deal with that. You know, even now, but now, you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't even do it. I don't even want to do a show. Sorry, or anything that say Timo. You know what I'm saying? To the name change. That's why I changed the name. My movie, Odu Gang. You know what I'm saying? I represent West African
Mhm.
culture, or what I
Hold
call
up.
West African Creole culture, which is, you know, West Magic Congo people of the diaspora.
No doubt. Hassan gang. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, that's what I don't work I represent I don't work up to none of that.
Oh, but I wish I could show you my hard hat. Like in construction, right? Let me
Yeah,
tell you something about in union construction, at least, right? Uh, um, hard hats is a symbol. Your hard hat is your symbol of individuality, right? So we
yeah,
got hard. You can get a company issued hard hat, or
yeah,
you can get what we call a 150, right?
yeah,
A 150 is a hard hat. It costs $150, but it's a carbon resin hard hat, right?
yeah,
Now on that hard hat is stickers. Now stickers, your hard hat stickers, right? Anybody that's a union construction worker can tell you, your stickers are very, very important, right?
yeah,
To construction workers, right?
yeah.
And I got on my hard hat, I got West African masks all around my hard hat, bro. You see
That's
what I'm
all.
saying?
Yeah, yeah,
You see what I'm saying? All different kinds of West African masks uh circling around my hard hat. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, you know, I rep, you know, I appreciate West Africa and what we bring to the table. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, yeah, you know, tropical Africa is it's a different thing. It's
yeah,
we a different type of people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We do
yeah.
things different. We move different. Our muscles is even different. You know what I'm
Twitch
saying?
muscle. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, like we got it. We even like we do shit.
And that's what I like to break
A
down
West
too.
African nigga is not like
Not like
nobody in the
it.
world, bro.
Yeah,
I
not
don't
like
give a fuck. Like y'all can talk pseudo. Y'all can call me pseudo is all outdoors. I'm gonna go to the grave with this, bro.
yeah.
West African niggas ain't nobody in the world like a West African nigga. Nobody on this motherfucking planet like a West African nigga. I'm trying to tell you, it ain't nobody. All of that human, no, it's fine. It's only one race, and it's human race. That's fine, right? But within that human race, right, is different niggas.
Yeah,
And
different dudes.
them
Yeah,
West African niggas, right? They different than every motherfucker. I'm gonna go to the grave with that, Gullah. Ain't no, don't even talk to me about trying to convince me out of that. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't even try.
We come out of it. We come out of there. Plus.
Yeah, no doubt. I know about the Kordofian, the Kordofian thing. That's what I'm saying. That's way down there in South Sudan. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
way down there.
In the Kadofians, the Nubia Hills, them the most of our
Yeah, no doubt.
because we came from the east a long time ago. Migrated into the
And that's what I'm saying. Them Kordofian, it was some of us that went west and some of us that kept going north, right? Out of that Kordofian situation, right? You know what I mean? And see, we went west. We them West niggas. That's what I'm saying. I understand all that, girl. Believe me, man.
When we was in the Sahara, in the Great Sahara, in the South Central.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They say you always gonna find somewhere South Central.
Right. Definitely. You know, but excuse me, man. But yeah, man. Like I said, man, I don't go for the whole Africa thing, man. I think I just don't like that whole Africa thing because everybody don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Africa's an Amazigh.
Yeah. But I mean, when you look at everybody else, though, right? You know, everybody else got their own shit. Like, you know, with the them Western Asian motherfuckers, them Europeans, they got their own shit. France, Germany, Britannica, all them niggas, right? They click together. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're talking about West Africa got to click together. You see what I'm saying? It's not. You got to have your shit tight so that you can be on the world stage. You know what I mean? You got to have your circle tight. That whole Pan-African thing, man. I don't think that shit is right to me. It's not right. It's not right.
No.
In my eyes.
It
just don't make no sense to me.
Even when it was created, it was created modeled after the different nations in Africa. And even with that, you know what I'm saying? That was like an anti or offshoot. You know what I'm saying? The nation in Europe that was linked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, niggas link up though.
You gotta look at you can look at some of the East African population the same way you look at the Andamanese people. You know what I'm saying? They're totally different people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely, you know, like I said, it's a whole different, you know, I don't see the they talk about like African culture. I don't see like the relation between all the different Africans like that. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like
no,
West Africans got their own thing. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like I don't.
That's why I fuck with Christopher Erie. Christopher Erie say even the African, the so-called African diaspora of the people that move to the Western Hemisphere, he said he wasn't just an African diaspora, he was a Niger Congo diaspora.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even the way like you go home to Ghana, right? You see the way like niggas kick it and the way they dance. Like I don't
Just
go.
like
I'm
us.
not. When I go home, I don't.
People
I'm
just like
not
us.
going to.
Just like us.
Yeah, like.
Even the way they hold a
Like
conversation.
my family, dog. When they send pictures, dog, it's just like you know what I'm saying. It's like African Americans. You know what I'm saying? It's they us. We them. You know, and it's obvious. You know what I'm saying? Like the way they dance, the way they kick it. You know everything. It's the way we do our shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
It's,
kick just
it's
like even a lot of the
I
dance,
mean, even the traditional, even like the traditional shit. Yeah, like you can see if you go to church, right? Um, especially like if you go to my wife's family, because my wife's family, they from down south, they from Arkansas, right? If you go like to one of their churches, right, like you can really see like the Africanness. You know what I'm saying? You can really see the Africanness in the church, right? You can see that old tradition, that those old customs, you know what I'm saying? That's coming from the continent. You know what I mean? Like you can see that. You
yeah,
can recognize
the
that when you
response
go
and
to
all that.
Ghana. Yeah, yeah. You really can see the when you look at the traditional shit in Ghana, you know what I mean? Like you really can see it in the church in America. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where you really see the commonality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
People don't
Even
recognize that though. They don't talk about that church, that you know what I'm saying? That
yeah,
church tradition, that southern, you know what I mean? I
yeah.
don't know the words, you know what I mean? But
Booty shaking, twerking. That shit come from winding. That shit come from West.
yeah, oh yeah. Definitely. That's in us. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfucker gonna twerk. Motherfucker gonna do some twerking, man. That's in black folks. They can't help it. You know what I'm saying? It's in your genes, it's in your DNA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I don't think it's good to do it out, on the restaurant table or nothing
Nah,
like that. But
nah.
in the backyard at the family reunion, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, do all the twerk your ass off, goddamn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hey Corey, did you know Jonan, Jonan, like your mama jokes and the dozens? That's
oh man,
that's
that's
West Africa. That's
yeah,
the joking game in West
that's
Africa.
all.
It was
No
it,
doubt,
it,
no
it was
doubt.
part of the law. It was part of the law in Mali. It's called
Mm.
Sankoria or something like that. But it was part of the laws and it was part of the constitution in Mali. Like if you had no dispute, you had to join it out.
Oh man, see, and that's the shit I be wanting to get into, like
Yeah.
the West African shit. You
I'm
know
gonna
what
get
I'm
into this shit
saying?
on
Like,
my
like I
show.
know y'all got that. Y'all all got that West African knowledge, man. You and I know Kofi and them got that too, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I got that book. I got that book, Africanisms in American Culture. That book talk about all that shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's what I be want. That's what I be wanting to hear, man. What's happening shit. So when I get my shit going, we gonna get into some of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, fuck Dr. Ben. I want to hear some Nora Zell Hurston shit.
Yeah. See, you got to introduce me to all of these scholars, man. The West African scholars, man.
Yeah, but no, Zora Neale Hurston was an African American scholar, and she wrote about Niger Congo and Africanisms and African American culture. She talked about the Gullah people. She the one who wrote the book Barracoon about Cujo, the last ship that was brought here in Americas in Alabama.
What is it? What's the book called? See, I gotta get up on get some of them books, man.
It's called Barracoon. Matter of fact, it's a documentary on Netflix right now called Descent, and they talk about Cujo, and they talk about that whole story. But it's a book too.
Cause man, our story, man, is unique and very interesting. So
Hey, Corey, you seen that Netflix show High on the Hog?
Nope.
Man, you got to see that, bro. They talk about it. On there, they talk about the food. They talk about the food connection. It's like a full part documentary. They talk about soul food and the food connection to African American food and West and Central African food.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out. I don't know. Yeah, definitely. Man. You got to get into teaching that, man. That's what I'm more interested in, actually, man.
Yeah, and that's what I was my goal of these podcasts. I was trying to go into Egypt and Nubia to get it out the way, kind of clean it up.
Right. Yeah.
So I can go into West Africa, because my next after these little Nubian shows, little Egyptian shows, my next phase, I'm going into West Africa, deep into West Africa.
Yeah, definitely, man. You got to, man. You got to. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there for that. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna get deep into West African culture. Sure.
You can help me get savvy. You know what I'm saying? On some of the history.
I got a big old book on West Africa. It's like a textbook. West Africa got a big old mask on. That's a good book I got. And Christopher Everett, he go deep into our culture, our history too, and civilizations of West. I mean, not civilizations of Africa in that book. He go into all cultures, but he really go, when it comes to us, he go deep into our culture too.
Yeah, definitely, man.
But I'm gonna close this show out. This was kind of like an introduction show to what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna get into the breakdown and the understanding the Nubia and the nuances of Nubia, to tell the people who was there, the different language families. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to do these little shows quick as I can, because I really do want to get into this West African shit. I'm tired of Egypt, for real. Like, I'm tired.
Yeah. You got to get into it. Like I said, definitely when you talk about Nubia, man, you got to be definitely clear on the time periods and shit.
Yeah.
That's a real shaky point where I think it's easy to get lost right there.
Yeah, because I don't even like using the term Nubia. I throw the word Nubia in the way. I just go into the who's the people and what they mixed up with, what time period that came in and shit, and how when some of these people came in, they started creating cultures, and cultures became trends, and they started blending into other people's cultures, and they start doing some of the same shit. even though they from different, different cool different circles of cultures. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. It's just a bunch of different groups in a certain area. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
I guess they just it's easy just to call that area Nubia. I guess at the time, I don't know.
And what's
Mhm.
special about that? What's special about that Nile area? It's like that's where uh, deep urbanization was started because you had different people coming in from different areas and shit. You pushed in. You started to have these metropolises like urban centers and shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And too, bro, shit, that Mediterranean, like uh the basin, like that's what they don't understand. Like Unc got this damn book. You don't even read this shit. But in this Christopher Eric book, he go into like the beginning of the Heliocene. And I like starting with the Heliocene period because that's the period we still in today. Like around like 10,000 right at the beginning of the Neolithic. Like the people
Mhm.
that we know today, like the base people was there. Like you had the Afro-Asiatic speaking niggas, you had Niger Congo niggas was around, you had Nilo-Saharan niggas around, you had Kushites and all these some of these groups that we still see today at this time period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And these was from my understanding, these was like different groups,
Yeah, different groups,
that
yeah.
was coming. I guess it started out at a point where around 9,000 is from what I'm reading is around 9,000 or 9,500 or somewhere around there.
Yeah, to get yeah,
They start to come around to it's a group that come around to the Fayum area, and first they started coming around when it was like a seasonal thing. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
then after a while, they started getting more sedentary in that
Yeah,
area.
the Fayum area was like you had you did have contemporary people that was related to them that was in those areas too that didn't like settle like they did, but what's special about them, they was the first full Neolithic culture in the area that practiced like full farming, but you still had other people around that still practice like an older what they call pre-agro pastoral type culture where they was
Mhm.
still collecting wild grains and practicing pastoralism. There wasn't
Right.
like full farming and shit like some of the Badarian groups. But the Fahim culture, they did like, some by them doing that, it kind of, it played a big effective role on the other, they other immediate cousins or groups that's related to them, in those regions.
Right. Well, obviously they, because I know from listening to Sosa, and I think Sosa he recommended some books. I can't even remember, but uh, he talked about the pastoralism and the agriculturalists, and so less likely you're gonna have some type of fight there. You know what I mean? And it seems like the agriculturalists won out. You know what I mean in that area.
Yeah, it became less popular, but it still was around because of course you had scrimmages, but you had certain instances where people worked together and did the shit. Like you had
Mhm.
you had what they call transhumanists, where you would have society who part of the family or part of the group that are practice, the past, like the agricultural shit, and you had certain people that attend to the animals and do the pastoral work. You know what I'm saying? Then you did have the people that probably practice full-time pastoralism. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but that, you know what I'm saying, that had issue with the sanitary people too. We had a whole lot of type of shit going
Yeah,
on there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
because the
Yeah,
people that farm too, they still kept animals, you know what I'm saying? Still practice husbandry, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, especially around I would say especially once you get around that 5,000 area right there,
Yeah.
5,000
You had
BC.
the plow and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's when it kind of get more popular to, the agriculture probably got more popular at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 Even right here, I would show I don't know if you can see that. Would you see where all that blue is?
I'll see. Is the blue at the top? Yeah,
You see that line where it looked like a now that stretches all the way down to where the other line, the darker line is.
yeah.
That blue, all of that blue, according to
Hmm.
this map from Christopher Eric and this little legend right here, all of that blue, all the way down there to southern Egypt, which is the years 8500 to 6500.
Hmm.
No, 6500 is what it started. The ship started to become desert. This is the Heliocene wet phase. All of
Right.
this shit, all the way down to southern Egypt, and the
Hmm.
other area right there, this darker area,
Hmm.
that's like that's right like in the what they call the tropical steeps,
Right.
right in Sudan. But up here in right where Lord Nubia begins in the wet phase, all of this shit that blue, that's
Hmm.
say Mediterranean flora and fauna.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All the
And
way down to South Egypt, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, you're talking about an ecosystem yeah.
Yeah,
I was trying to make that point too at the beginning, but I guess that's something
yeah,
that's not to be said either, I guess. But
yeah,
yeah,
because even that argument when Uncle say, these dudes was naked and this and that, even if you was naked, it wouldn't have been that extreme because it was a moderate temperature, you know what I'm
right. Yeah, 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 definitely. Definitely.
saying? It wasn't that
Not in the
it wasn't a
equatorial
desert
zone.
until later on. It wasn't heat until like 3500, you know what I'm saying, BC.
Yeah, it's not in the equatorial zone.
Nah, nah. You had, of course you had like, people that cross zones and shit, but they wasn't a major center, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, it's Mother Nature is quite um defeat. These when you talk about natural barriers, right? You're not talking about something that's impenetrable or something that's impossible to do, right? You're
Yeah,
always gonna have um, situations where somebody may, you know, do the unthinkable or whatever, right?
yeah,
But what the what Mother Nature is is what these barriers, these natural barriers are, they are formidable. So
yeah,
like if you do, most people who do try to take on these barriers don't make it, but there's some who do,
yeah,
you know, because
yeah.
I mean, and you got to be prepared to you got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like
For nature.
the C group. I read in this. I got the Oxford like Unc got that book, but that book that he got from 2012. I got the Oxford Handbook of Nubia from 2020.
Mm.
Uh and Maria Gatto and others, they talking about how like even though like so the cataract did of course slow shit down. But like the C group, uh, either the C groups or A groups, they kind of met up with some of the Nakata people at certain oases and shit. You know what I'm saying? Trading and shit in like
Yeah,
around the desert regions and shit. Like these
yeah,
oases around
yeah.
these lake regions where they meet up and trade shit and have like little markets like around the like lake oases and shit.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, I can see that. Yep, yep. And you definitely gotta be in the know. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
sure they had even like today. You have guides and shit like that. I mean, you gotta have somebody with you that know what's going on.
mm-hmm,
Everybody don't know how to traverse. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
That terrain and the waterways and all that kind of shit.
yeah,
Like I said, it ain't impenetrable, but it is a formidable um, uh, barrier.
yeah. It would have been a lot more difficult.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like like even like certain areas in the Sahara. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it was sand, but you did have some areas that was like rocks. You know what I'm saying? Where a few people will leak in. You know what I'm saying? That take that risk.
Yeah. Yep, and that's what I'm saying. Like some of those modern Nubians, they kind of drifted up there where they at.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They came in. Some of them was even coming in from the east, like when the shit was drying up and shit. And them Nilo-Saharan groups, they start mixing in with the Kushites and like when I say Kushites, I ain't talking about like Kushite with a K. I'm talking about with a C, like them East African looking niggas and shit. Start linking up with them niggas and and they cousins that was further north. You know what I'm saying? That they had a little bit more Eurasian components in them. You know what I'm saying? The northern Eritreites shit, niggas.
Yeah,
Uh,
you talking about the Nilotic people, the 7 foot tall niggas and shit.
yeah, yeah, them niggas are like uh or the base new or the Nubians, but they've been around them other people so long that they started to, you know what I'm saying, carry affinities like them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because they still got their pastoral culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's how you know they different too, because they still got the cows. They out there with they got they say when the average baby is born out of them, they born with 100 cows and shit.
yeah. But you know, them people, them Nilo people they ain't been fucking with them cows like for the longest. They were like they actually like hunter gatherer niggas who picked up on pastoralism like at the beginning of the Neolithic period, like around 1300 BC and shit. Them
Because
niggas
that's
know.
what I'm saying. They drifted up there. You know what I'm saying? They from South Sudan, ain't they?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of them, yeah, a lot of
They
them.
the Cordovians. They the Cordovian niggas. They related to them. I gotta get that. I gotta get that.
Not the Gaddafi niggas is us, but the Nile Saharian is a older. They like a older people. They like a much older people that like they was hunter gatherers and shit for a long time, but they picked up on uh melodic lifestyles later on and shit. But they are related. Like even the earliest ancestor of the Afro-Asiatic people that come out the Amadi groups came out of some type of Nile Saharian nigga. You know what I'm saying? They just
Mhm.
diverged and went east. You know what I'm saying? Became to start looking different and shit.
Oh, okay, I see. I got you.
They start mixing with, then my Amadi niggas start mixing with Eurasians and Basal Eurasians. They start having that little mixture look and shit eventually to the SLC 45 light skin shit. You know what I'm saying? Start kicked in too and migrated in up north.
Yeah, but
But
yeah, I was just coming through, man, to show you a little bit of support, man.
okay. But I'm gonna shut this down though. I was just telling the people this is just the introduction of the Nubian shit I was gonna break down so I can get this over with so I can talk about some West African shit.
Yeah. Next time you go live, man, I have a couple of them sources that I was talking about. That way you can help me out. Um, go through them a little bit.
Okay.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man.
All right,
Peace.
I'm gonna shut it down, people. Stay safe.